Here is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
This is the Verizon Extra Innings Show. Verizon, the most reliable 5G in St. Louis.
The 1-2 pitch with 2 outs in the ninth. A swing and the ball is hit on one hop, barehanded by Gonzalez. The second baseman throws out Pajes, and this ball game has come to an end. The Pirates picked up 2 in the 6th and turned back the Cardinals 2-1.
Not much in terms of offense tonight for the Cardinals. They scored just 1 run on 4 hits, and they end up losing to the Pirates, and now they need to win tomorrow if they want to split the 4-game series. Welcome in. This is the Extra Innings Show right here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX. We are glad to have you with us. The program being brought to you in part by Gray Bar. Gray Bar is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. You want to talk through this one? Multiple ways for you to get connected with the program. You can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or for those of you who are watching on the video stream, you can leave a comment in the chat, and we will get to that as we go through the show this evening. Just a bad night offensively. I thought it was interesting what Oliver Marmol talked about. And this is honestly, this isn't something that we have talked about a lot this year, but we talked about it a fair amount last season, is the Cardinals' inability to handle velocity. And they're not alone in that. There's a reason that pitchers right now chase velocity. It's the thing that makes you most effective as a pitcher more than anything else. That doesn't mean that other things don't matter, but velocity in many ways can be the most impactful. And this group of Cardinals hitters don't especially do well against high velocity. So when Bubba Chandler walks out there and throws 4 innings, giving up just a hit, and his fastball is sitting 99 and it's just about touching 101, it's a tough look. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm using that as an explanation. Like you got to be better. That's something that you need to be better at. This team is not better at that right now. It goes back to what we have talked about a lot this year, that there is a talent deficit on this Cardinals team. It's why I think the reason I have been as positive as I have been about this club is because they have gotten more out of this group than they probably should have. The end results, the record being close to 500, just the way this season has gone, it's better than what you would think based off the players on the roster. But at the end of the day, you got to have guys who can handle a little bit of velocity, and they haven't done that very often, and they don't do it tonight. And give credit to Pittsburgh. Some messages that are coming in. Carlos says, the last 2 nights have been bad loss to the Pirates. You need to beat the bad team in the division. Carlos, I understand that. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Pirates are a great team. They're not a great team. Their record speaks for itself. But Bernie Miklasz had he wrote over at STL Sports Central comparing the Pirates record and the Cardinals record. He wrote this yesterday. So I'll read from it, but I'll update it with the numbers over the last 2 days. So the records since May 30th, the Pirates are 38-39. The Cardinals are 33-45. Records since June 30th, Pirates 24-25, Cardinals 18-31. Records since the All-Star break, Pirates 20-17, Cardinals 14-23. Since Don Kelly took over as the manager on May 9th, they have a record of 47-49. Cardinals during that same period are 46-50. Since May 20th, Pirates are above 500 at 44-42. Cardinals are 38-48 during that time. So I understand where you're coming from, but the Pirates have been playing better baseball. At least they've been winning more games for a while now, since going back to really through June on. And so I think taking the shot at saying, the Pirates are just a bad team, they've been better recently. I'm not saying they're a good team. I'm not saying they're a great team. I'm not saying any of that, but I think it's a little bit unfair to just paint them as this terrible team in the division. Sam says losing the season series to the Pirates and the Rockies is unacceptable. The Rockies for sure. I don't have an answer for that. You saw what I just said about the Pirates, so I would just kind of keep it with that. Nick sends in a message, says this is just a bad team. No way around that. Here's the real question. Does the team finish out the year under or over 500? Right now, they look like a below 500 club. And that's kind of the thing that I think there is value in being an above 500 team. And I said that last year and people didn't like it. Okay, that's fine. I say stuff all the time that people don't like. I think there's value in being an above 500 team. Right now, they're 65 and 69. Not impossible that they get to above 500, but if I had to bet on it at this point, I don't think I would bet in that direction. I hope they do. I'd love for them to get above 500. There's something to be said for that, but yeah, it's not looking great right now. In fact, we got a text message from the 314 said, I don't think, talking about mine, it said, Matt, I don't think your early season prediction of 88 wins will happen. At the halfway point, they were 44 and 37, and then the second half, 21 and 32. That's dismal. Yeah. I had no problem with the 88 win thing at the beginning of the season. We've talked about it. I didn't think the team was worse than it was last year, and they were an above 500 team last year, but everything changed at the trade deadline. And I'm not like hedging my bets, but when I would have fallen off the above 500 and maybe flirting with that win total would have been around the trade deadline when they sold. Things just change at that point in time. So no, I would not. I would say they're not going to get to 88 wins this season for sure. That's just something that again, I don't think they're probably going to be a 500 team this year, which is unfortunate. But they can still turn it around, and there are still things to. I feel like everything's negative right now, and I understand why. They just scored one run against the Pirates, and they lost the season series against the Pirates. Like, all these things are true. I'm not trying to put lipstick on a pig. There are still things to take away from this season. There are still young players to watch. And I think what we've seen from Nolan Gorman here since about June 1st is certainly an important thing as well. So it's not like this season just does not have value. It's just not going the way that you would like it to go. Sam sends in a message asking about the play with Contreras and said he heard that Sonny talk about it and say it was a weird play. Yeah, so I think there's two things there. The way it went down was, and for those of you who are listening, the ball comes to Contreras, who's off the first base bag. He looks to get the out at second to get the lead runner. He doesn't have an angle to get the ball to second because of where the runner is. So at that point, he makes the decision to go to first. He underhands to first with Gray going over to cover. Gray did two things. When he was running to first, he had his head down. And then as he started to get closer to first base, he started looking to second. I think he was looking to second, thinking that Contreras was going to go to second, and then he was looking to see if there might be a throw coming in from second for a potential double play. There was no throw to second. Gray wasn't looking at Contreras. Contreras still flipped the ball. I don't think it was a terrible flip. I think if Gray's paying attention in that spot, they likely get the out. Can we be critical of Contreras for the flip? Should have he noticed that Gray wasn't totally locked in that moment? I don't know. I think that's a lot to ask. I understand why they assess the air on Contreras because it's his flip that essentially goes wide of Gray, but there's culpability on both sides on that one. Weird play, very, very weird play. Multiple ways that could have been avoided. Contreras paying more attention to Gray and Gray paying more attention to Contreras would have done it. But there were a lot of things. There were a lot of things going on that play for sure. Let's get some text messages that have come in today. Let's see. From the 501 says Gray pitched well enough to win. His command will bode well for 15 or more wins this season and a number one starter for next season as well. He He is likely to be the Cardinals' top starter next season because I don't think they're going to go out and make a big splash when it comes to starting pitching. I do think they're going to add to their starting pitching depth for next year, but unless a trade presents itself where they're able to maybe move some of their left-handed bats, and in it they're able to get a pitcher that they've got some years of control on, I would suspect that Gray will be the top starter. But I like Sonny Gray a lot, and I think he gives you a chance to win more often than any other starting pitcher the Cardinals have. He's a really nice piece on a roster, and I think he's a really nice piece on a winning baseball team. He's not your top of rotation ace on a team that's going to go out and probably make a deep playoff run and win a World Series and things like that. That's not who he is right now. And he was coming off. He kind of looked like that the year before he got to St. Louis. He was third in the American League Cy Young Award voting. He's a really, really good pitcher, but you put him into some of these other rotations across baseball, and he might be a 3, he might be a 2 at some places. So, look, I like Sonny Gray. I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing next year for sure. It helped that it's not so hot. He obviously has issues with some of the heat that he's been dealing with throughout the summer months, which that's not great, but it also doesn't stay that extremely hot for that long. Yeah, I like what Sonny Gray did for the Cardinals tonight. Disappointed for him that he was not able to come away with a victory. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, or leave a comment in the video chat. We've got more coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's the Extra Innings Show on KMOX.
There's a big red barn where you say green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, back to the Verizon Extra Innings Show.
Continuing on right here on KMOX, Cardinals lose to the Pirates by a 2-1 score. My name is Matt Pauley, coming your way from Busch Stadium. Certainly appreciate you being with us today. Interesting message from Sam. He says, "Why didn't the Cardinals pinch hit with Pozo when Pages was coming up in the 9th? I think Pozo gives you a better shot there." Yeah. So a couple things here, and people have not totally noted, and this isn't a shot at you, Sam, at all. But when you look at the recent production of those two hitters, Pages had 2 for 4 today. So, and he drives in the only run of the day. His August numbers, speaking of Pages, really good. He's a 340 hitter in the month of August with a 980 OPS, where Pozo, and it's been so much fun watching Pozo this year, but I am starting to wonder if the league is starting to figure him out. He's hitting 135 in the month of August with a 416 OPS. So right now, when you look at the recent trends, Pages is giving you the better at bat. So that's just from a raw numbers standpoint. I think that's what you look like. Pages had a nice day today. And I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen, but it does seem like the league is starting to figure out Joel Pozo a little bit. He has always hit in the minor leagues. We'll see whether or not he'll be able to kind of find it here at the big leagues before the season is over. Text message coming in asking if the Cardinals are going to bring up Weatherholt and Matthews. I don't think so. Something could happen that would change that, but I don't get the feeling that they are going to add them to the 40-man roster. I think right now they are going to try to keep the 40-man roster as clear as possible to give Chaim Bloom as large of a kind of a blank palette as possible going into next season. Text message from the 251 says, the team is not good. Call it what you want, but they are terribly inconsistent at everything. Can't hit high velocity, which makes sense because this team has very little power. Go look at all the first place teams. All of them have power and at least one player with 20 home runs. Got to get more pop, has to happen. 100% agree. The Cardinals, without a doubt, need more power from a hitting standpoint, and they need more power from a pitching standpoint. You got to get more home runs, and you got to get more strikeouts from your pitching staff. That's going to be the pathway towards this team getting back to a point where they can be successful. And they just don't have it right now. And I give credit, and look, starting pitching here recently just has not been good for the Cardinals. It really hasn't. But when you look at the guys that they're throwing out there outside of Sonny Gray and recently Michael McGreevy, I don't know what the expectations should have been. And for a while, it was kind of coming together and it was doing an okay job. But here recently, it's fallen off. And I think if we're being very honest about things, you kind of expected it to fall off. Just again, to me, it's the roster. You can criticize Oliver Marmol, you can criticize anybody on the coaching staff you want. Like you can levy those criticisms if you would like. And I'm not saying that there's zero culpability around that, but it's a roster thing. They need better players. That's my number one thing when it comes to this team. Get better players. Some of the numbers coming out of it put together by the PR staff for the Cardinals, who always do a great job with that. Sonny Gray, he struck out Henry Davis in the third inning, got to 1,886 strikeouts for his career. That moves him by Barry Zito for 110th all-time in Major League history. He got a strikeout of Brian Reynolds in the fourth inning. That was his 245th career strikeout at Busch Stadium. He moves past Trevor Rosenthal for 10th all-time in stadium history. For Pages, he had that multi-hit day. It's his 11th multi-hit game of the season. And Lars Nootbaar, who's really been struggling here recently, once again, he's gone back down into one of his kind of lulls. He played in his 500th career game today. Also got his team leading 53rd and 54th walks of the season, but he's having a really hard time collecting hits. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. ChesterfieldFence.com. Cardinals tomorrow going to wrap up this series against the Pirates, and it's going to be Miles Mikolas on the mound. 1:15 first pitch. Our coverage is going to begin at 12:20. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Cardinals end up losing to the Pirates by a 2-1 score. We'll talk to you tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball here on KMOX.
KMOX News, I'm Michael Calhoun with Mizzou's season.